Hey guys, welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. In the last part, Edgeworth just admitted his false guilt, and we're gonna get him free. So anyway, come on, controller, turn on. Alright. That day, I had gone to the courtroom to observe one of my father's trials. As we went to leave, an earthquake struck, trapping us in the elevator. My father and Mr. Yogi lost their composure and began to argue. Just then, something heavy fell at my feet. I picked it up and threw it at Mr. Yogi. I wanted them to stop fighting. A moment later, there was a single gunshot and then a scream. It was a terrible scream. I remember it to this day. That's all. And until now, you thought this memory was a dream? We were stuck in that elevator for 5 hours. The oxygen in the elevator ran out and I lost my memory of the events. Bah! The same claim Mr. Yogi has made. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. Alright, the DL6 incident. That day I'd gone to the courtroom to observe one of my father's trials. As we went to leave, an earthquake struck, trapping us in the elevator. My father and Mr. Yogi lost their composure and began to argue. Just then, something heavy fell at my feet. Let's see here. I picked it up and threw it at Mr. Yogi and wanted them to stop fighting. A moment later, there was a single gunshot, then a scream. Well, wait a minute. Pistol. Okay, now this is just... Okay. Let's see here. Okay, now who's on the scene? One bullet was found in heart. The murder weapon was fired twice. Let's do this. Are you sure you only heard one gunshot? Yes, I'm sure of that. I heard the shot, and the scream. Then everything faded. I was unconscious until the rescuers came. I see. But that doesn't make sense. Look at this file one more time. This plainly contradicts the witness's testimony. Objection! You do enjoy dragging out your... You do enjoy dragging out that file. Jeez, I can't barely friggin' read tonight. I don't accept this evidence unless you can tell us what page it is on. Yes, that's like the horrible clincher. It's like the one thing we can never do. We can't point our finger, but we'll show him. We've had 2 full Let's Plays to be able to point our finger. So we're gonna point it at the victim data. Eat it! We're pointing our finger multiple times. Okay, look at the victim data in this file. It says it's quite plainly the murder weapon was fired twice. Alright, Miles Edgeworth only heard 1 gunshot, yet the murder weapon was fired twice. The first shot was the accidental firing when the pistol was thrown. So, who fired the remaining shot? Oh yeah, we're smart. Smack. Was there perhaps another shooter who fired that second shot? Objection! Your Honor, as I'm sure you're aware, this incident occurred 15 years ago. The evidence is dated. The pistol did fire twice. However, we do not know when that second shot was fired. It might have been fired the day before the incident. There is no proof that the second shot had anything to do with this incident. What? I see. You do have a point. Mr. Wright? The murder weapon was fired twice, as we have heard. One of those shots was fired by the defendant, a boy at the time. Do you have any proof that the other shot had something to do with this case? Yes. Your Honor, I think I will be able to show you proof. What? Impossible! Now, Mr. Von Karma, save your surprise for after you've seen the evidence. Very well, Mr. Wright, show us your proof. Do you have evidence that the second firing of the pistol related to this incident? Okay, let me see here. Aha! Photo. Alright. It is this photo. Look at this photograph. This is a photograph of the scene of the crime, 15 years ago. I can see that the victim lying there is Gregory Edgeworth. This proves the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. This photo proves it. So let me get this straight. This photo proves 2 shots were fired? Where? Your Honor, please get a clue. Jeez. Show the judge with a contradiction in the photo. Alright. I can already see it. Everybody has already seen this by now. It's this crack here. Ding. As should be obvious, the contradiction is here. I see. A bullet hole in the door. Your Honor, Gregory Edgeworth was killed by a shot from the pistol. Yet there's also a bullet hole in the elevator door. We also know that the murder weapon was fired twice. Thus, someone other than Edgeworth fired that second shot. Smack, smack, smack. Order! Order! Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? What do you think we're driving at? It's simple, Your Honor. At the time of the incident, 2 shots were fired. One into Gregory Edgeworth's heart. The other hit the elevator door. Remember that the defendant lost consciousness after the shot he fired rang out. In conclusion, we must agree that the second shot was fired by someone else. Mr. Wright. But who could that someone else be? The murderer, of course. Objection! I knew I should have stepped in before your wild fantasies got out of hand. Mr. Wright, look once more at the DL6 incident case file. Look closely. Try the case summary page. Case summary. That's on page 1. No, really? I never would have guessed. Look at what is written there. Not a single clue was found on the scene. If the pistol had indeed been fired 2 times, then the other bullet would have been discovered on the scene. He does have a point. That second bullet has never been found. Why? Because the second bullet does not exist. The bullet that claimed Gregory Edgeworth's wife... The bullet that claimed Gregory Edgeworth's life was the one fired by his own son. That is the truth of this matter. The whole truth. It was undoubtedly something else that made that bullet hole in the door. Yes, it was undoubtedly not the bullet that made a bullet hole. Order. I will have order. Mr. Wright has proven one thing to us quite clearly. That the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. However, as Mr. Von Karma says, the second bullet fired was not found. It is highly unlikely that the police merely overlooked this second bullet. Smack. So, all we have is a single bullet fired. I'm afraid I have to discount the defense's claim. Disc, disc, disc. I praise the judge for his wisdom in this matter. Ah! How did this happen? How could this happen to me? Okay. I don't believe that the second bullet didn't exist. Was I wrong? Have I been wrong about this whole incident? What are you doing, Nick? Why aren't you raising an objection? I'm sorry, Maya. What? It looks like I was wrong. Nick? If the second bullet wasn't there, then all my conjectures are for nothing. No! But you said you'd do it, Nick! You said you'd get Edgeworth declared innocent! I'm sorry. It's just, when I saw the photograph, I thought 2 shots had been fired. I was so certain of it. I thought I'd won. I thought there was another person. Someone else who fired the killing shot. But now, I was wrong to think it could be that simple. This case has stood unsolved for 15 years. Nick! Well, it seems that we have finally cleared up this incident. Only 1 bullet was found at the scene of the crime. That shot was fired by Miles Edgeworth. Precisely. I would like to ask one thing of Miles Edgeworth before passing my verdict. Have you been paying attention to the trial so far? Yes, Your Honor. Do you have any objections? No. No, I do not. So you killed your father, though that was not your intention? Yes, I did. Oh no! He's confessing! Very well. The statute of limitations on the murder of Gregory Edgeworth runs out today. Therefore, I must pronounce a verdict on the defendant today, right here. Right now! Indeed. Does anyone have any objections? I've been here before. It's just like my first day in court. There's so many things I know I should be saying. My mind's gone blank. I can't find the words. Mr. Wright? I have an objection. Objection! Your Honor! I object. Disc, disc, disc. Mr. Wright, on what grounds do you object? Hmm? Oof. Nick? I don't know. His case is perfect. Oh no! Ah! It must exist. The second bullet. What? What did you just say? Nothing. The second bullet must exist? But where? Someone took it. It seems waiting is not going to produce us any answers from Mr. Wright. Wait, Your Honor! The second bullet, it exists! What? But we've just heard proof that it did not exist. I realize that, Your Honor. I'm really grasping here. It's just someone took it from the scene of the crime. That's what happened. But who? The murderer. The murderer? Then tell us, just who is this murderer? I'm still thinking about that one. So the criminal took the second bullet? Why would he? Huh? First of all, how would he have found it? It's not easy to find a stray bullet, Mr. Wright. Was there some pressing need for the murderer to search for that bullet? The murderer had to find it, didn't he? He should. Of course there was a need. That's why he took it. Bah, what possible reason could he have had? Well, the reason the murderer took the bullet away from the scene with him is... the bullet would be proof. The murderer was cautious. It could be both, dang it. Let's see. The bullet would be proof the murderer was cautious. Crap. How about the bullet would be proof? Third, maybe he thought that the bullet would be used as proof? Proof? It was a special bullet, so he took it with him. If that was the case, then he would have taken the bullet from inside Gregory as well. Huh? Why would he only take one of the 2 shots fired? Oh, right. Mr. Wright, have you really thought this through? I'm going to have to penalize you. Ugh, this isn't going so well. Was there some pressing need for the murderer to search for that bullet? Let's see. Oh, crap. I'm afraid. I hope I... Wait, dang it. Okay, well, wait. What did I just do? I just did the murderer had to find it. Okay, well... Okay, how about the murderer had to find it? Again. Of course there was a need, so I took it. Okay. Well, prison. Okay, then let's try this. I do have 4 excuses left, so how about the murderer was cautious? Well, the murderer was a very cautious sort, you see. That's why the murderer had to search for that bullet. Okay. If that was the case, then he would have taken the bullet from inside... Okay. Okay, then how about he didn't need it? Alright, well, I still have 3 left. Hopefully, I'm gonna make it through this. Alright, he didn't need it. Why would the murderer have spent the time to look for that stray bullet? I haven't got a clue. What's wrong, Mr. Wright? The murderer had no reason to take that bullet. You don't want to admit it, but it's true. Had to take it. Had to take it? The murderer? What does that mean? You're thinking too normal. Think crazy. Don't think why the bullet was taken. Think why the bullet had to be taken. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, the murderer had no intention of taking the bullet from the scene. But, the murderer had to take that bullet. Had to, Mr. Wright? What do you mean? Well, for instance... what? Maybe the bullet, hit the murderer? The bullet hit the murderer? Just saying, for instance... I mean, if it hit you, you would have to take it with you, wouldn't you? It's not like you could perform surgery right there. You know?